Yeah, what we have here is tunnel in construction. So oftentimes we see the underwater tunnel, the tunnels for railway structure and the likes of them. So we will need to understand what tunnel in construction means and how it is applied, the reasons why we make use of tunnels in construction, then the area of application of these tunnels in construction. So we'll take a look at tunnels in construction. A tunnel is an underground passage constructed through soil or rock, to provide a safe and efficient route for transport, then utilities or water flow. So the idea of tunneling is just for you to construct an underground passage, right, through either soil or rocks, because you have to actually do some drilling, right? So, and the drilling might be through your normal soil or through rocks to provide a safe and efficient route for transport. Then, when you're doing your transportation, either you're transporting utilities or flow of water, right? So tunnels are essential for overcoming natural obstacles like mountains. So when you have a big mountain and you just need a passage, so you just create your tunnel so that it helps to give that passage. So tunnels are essential for conveying for overcoming natural obstacles, improving connectivity, and enabling infrastructural development in challenging terrain. So when you hear tunnels, they are actually built in challenging terrains. When you have terrains that are not flat, terrains that are not easily transportable, so you create your tunnels, so that to create that ease of transportation. So we'll be taking a look at the reasons why tunnels are used in construction. So the first one is overcomes natural obstacles. So obstacles are always on the road, especially in your road construction. You have different obstacles where you even sometimes you need to do your cut to fill, your cut to spoil and the likes of that. But in a place whereby you have this gigantic mountain that you can't really cut, so you just have to just drill through and create a tunnel so that it will still create that convenience of passage. So overcomes natural obstacles, allows transportation and utilities to pass through mountain, rivers, urban areas efficiently. So with this tunnel, you can actually pass through the mountain, rivers and urban areas efficiently. So you don't even need to even care about the obstacles because the tunnel has been provided. So improves connectivity and accessibility. So enhances travel efficiency and links remote area to major cities and economic centers. So it actually helps to provide that link between the rural areas and the economic centers. Because of the tunnel, there is now accessibility and connectivity between the rural areas and the economic centers of the town. So support economic development. So tunnel in essence actually helps to support the economic development, facilitates trade, reduce transportation time and cost, and stimulates growth in surrounding regions. So where these tunnels are actually provided actually helps to stimulate growth, easy connectivity, access to the major towns and the likes of that. So it actually helps the economic development of such an area. So the next point is enhances safety and reliability. So provide protected routes, less affected by weather conditions, landslides, and other hazards. So because there are some cases whereby when you tend to do a whole lot of excavation, it might lead to either that is volcanic eruption and the likes of that. So when you do your seismic design and your soil test and all those things, it will tell you the kind of structure that you actually need in such a place, either to do an erection of your tunnels, your construction of your tunnels, so it will actually help to enhance the safety and the reliability of such road, which helps to provide protected route, then which is less affected by weather condition, then landslides and other hazards. So the next point is environmental benefits. So the environmental benefit of tunnel construction. So tunnel construction actually helps to reduce surface disruption, then minimize land acquisition, and helps preserve natural landscape. So it actually helps to prevent surface disruption, right? Then it actually also helps to minimize land acquisition. Then it actually helps to preserve natural landscape. So you only pass through that is underneath the mountain, so the landscape of the mountain is still sustained. So we'll be taking a look at areas of use and application of tunnel. So where do we make use of tunnel, and where do we apply tunneling in construction? The first point is road tunnels for highways and expressway. So if you check your expressway, your highways, you're going to see some of these road tunnels installed, right? Some are installed in situ, some are precast. So you tend to do the construction elsewhere, then you transport it to site. Then the other one is railway tunnel for high speed metro rail system. So for your metro rail system and your high speed rail system, you tend to make use of your tunnel, because there are some areas where you actually need that tunnel design to enhance the connectivity and also to shorten some of the distances. Instead of going around the mountain, you can just create your tunnel through the mountain, right? Then water tunnels for irrigation, drainage, and hydropower systems. So for your irrigation system, your drainage system, your hydropower system, you can actually create this tunnel, which actually help to enhance the whole process. Then utility tunnel for cable, pipes, and communication networks. So for your communication networks, you can actually create this tunnel which conveys your important cables. All right, that actually helps to protect the cable from weather condition, from theft, from destruction, right? Then pedestrian and service tunnel. So we actually have pedestrian and service tunnel, which is mostly used by human, animals, and all those things in urban infrastructure. So when you're creating maybe your urban layout, you can actually include some of these infrastructure. Then we have mining tunnel for mineral extraction and exploration. So you can actually make use of your tunnel in mining areas, whereby you use that for extraction of your minerals and for your exploration. Then stormwater and flood control tunnels. So we also have tunnels for stormwater and flood control. So this tunnel actually helps to control the stormwater, the sewer, and the flood that tends to affect the urban centers. So you tend to create these stormwater and flood control tunnels in urban areas. So we'll be taking a look at the typical tunnel structure. So we'll take a look at the components of the tunnel structure. So the first is the rock slash the soil mass. So this is the natural ground through which the tunnel is excavated, right? Is the natural, either be it a mountain or the soil, whereby you excavate to get the surface where your tunnel is going to be. Then we have support system, rock bolts, steel ribs, and concrete used to stabilize the excavation. So this is actually used to stabilize, the surface whereby you excavated. Then we have the waterproofing layer, prevents water ingress and protects the tunnel structure. So this actually helps to become a waterproof structure to protect, the tunnel. Then primary lining, we have the final lining, then we have the drainage system, because even in the tunnel, there's still going to be sometimes seepage of water that needs to drain through the tunnel. So you make provision for the drainage system. Then you have the track for your railway, right, or road, which supports transportation within the tunnel. So tunnel connects people, protects journey, and unlock the potential of challenging terrain. Then it helps to build with precision, design for safety, and engineered for the future. So tunneling is very, very essential because it actually creates that ease of connectivity, helps to overcome natural obstacles, improves connectivity and accessibility, then supports economic development, then enhances safety and reliability. Then we also have the environmental benefit.